I can't remember the last time a game hated me this much. This is the Dear God.
I don't care what you've done. I don't care who you've won. I know in the end you had your fun.
Okay, so before we get started, we've got a change coming to the channel. I am officially retiring the First Impression series because it really wasn't meeting the same quality as the rest of the channel, while still requiring a fair amount of time invested in each video. So instead, when a game warrants I stop before reaching its end, it shall now be an abridged review. This will also apply to games that are impossible to finish, like Minecraft, or games that can't be considered finished unless an unrealistic and impractical amount of time is devoted to them. The Dear God happens to be the lucky first game to receive an abridged review, and it couldn't have started the trend with a more hateful game. Really, the Dear God is a game that seems to hate the player. You are in contempt in its eyes. It definitely fits what the narrative is going for, but it frames itself in a cruel, frustrating way that only hardcore masochists will enjoy. If you are easily frustrated or angered, you might as well stop watching here because this is not the game for you. Everyone else better buckle up because boy is this going to be a polarizing game. In the Dear God, you are a hunter. While out one night camping, you spot a healthy buck. However, the forest has other plans and a wolf jumps you from behind. So your shot fires off accidentally and kills the deer's child, who happens to perk its head up right at that moment. You are then ascended to a higher plane of existence to meet the Dear God, because apparently every creature has its own god, who condemns you for hunting and puts you to the task of redemption and inserts your soul into the body of the baby deer. So, to be clear, the forest preys on you, and for all intents and purposes seems to have killed your human body, and apparently could have just brought the baby deer back to life, but instead it turns the dead body into a Frankenstein's monster with you inside it with a vague order of redeeming yourself for an action that wouldn't have happened if the forest had just backed the hell off for a minute. This is how the game starts, and it doesn't get any fairer from here. Normally when you hear the word pretentious used with a game, it means an art house game. Here, the game's entire narrative conceit and message just seems to be incredibly egotistical. Every death resets your level, and eventually the game also starts making you have to die twice, with the first death being in the body of one of the enemies you killed, who can do jack squat by comparison to you. Then, after they've died, then you get back to starting at square one. There's a morality system that is about as inconsistent as the moral justification for the game's opening as well. Killing some animals is fine. In fact, some animal deaths mark positively against you. But others are terrible, and how dare you kill them, you horrible monster! Never mind, the game never explicitly tells you this. I only found out about the morality meter by looking in the inventory screen. Nor does it compensate for the fact that a ton of the early creatures you face are just things you are not supposed to kill. Sometimes they'll even attack you, but instead you are supposed to just run away. The game also does a terrible job of introducing itself in terms of navigation. It's a fully realized world to explore, but it's presented in a 2D plane like an action platformer. So as a result, you might not even realize at first that you can double back and grind on enemies. You are given the vaguest hints as to what you should do to accomplish your goal of redemption, as the game is suddenly explaining Metroidvania mechanics to you that don't even seem to be from the same narrative. Why are the dear elders who hate me so much giving me ability unlocks? Was this game written and designed by two separate teams? I don't know! I have to say that I am impressed at just how much effort has gone to make the game have contempt for the player, because the gameplay itself is fine. Sure, the platforming is a little floaty, but it's nice. The fighting is a little awkward, but you get used to it and there's some satisfaction to defeating an opponent. The inventory system feels completely out of place in terms of what's happening, but the items can be useful in certain situations, and assigning them to hotbar is very easy. The idea that you need to eat food to continually build up stamina to fight is a great idea, and it encourages that you scavenge and explore the levels. The art direction is fantastic, and surprisingly enough, there are graphics options for even the console port. The controls are responsive and work nicely. But all those elements are buried under a game that judges you with a burning glare like a bitter grandparent gives when they wonder why you don't like their politically incorrect posts on Facebook. It's a game that seems to want you to fail. It wants it so bad. The game even comes with a hardcore mode apparently. If regular mode just isn't enough teeth being kicked in for you. It's one thing to be challenging or even just hard. Dark Souls is challenging. Myst is hard. Neither Myst nor Dark Souls hate you. Neither works to try and undercut you so aggressively and angrily. I hate that the Dear God does that, because I get the feeling if it wasn't so obtusely unpleasant, I'd absolutely love it. But as it is, It's a bitter piece of work that only the most masochistic gamers will get the most from. It is free on Xbox Live Games with Gold as of this writing, so if you want, and you have an Xbox One, give it a try, but come in with a calm, yet braced mindset. You are going to be frustrated with this one. There will be a point where it will push you too far and you will need to step away. Which is why the Dear God gets a 4 unnecessarily strenuous deaths out of 10.
For your mischievous deeds, you will be punished.
If you want to feel good about environmentalism, just watch Fern Gully again. This is Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
I see a rector and I want it into black.
I see the girls walk by dressed in their summer clothes.
Bring your minigun so that you
Bring
can.
your minigun to the beach.
Yeah, you go bodyboarding and then you come back in. You're like, oh, there's the enemy. Let me grab my minigun.
Yes,
And we're about to go into more buildings
And we're going to go inside lots of great buildings.
use our bullets to negotiate. Oh, good, they're already shooting.
It's like House of Cards with guns.
Yeah. I'll be Frank Underwood, and then we'll just make this work.
Well, if any trains get nearby, I am not Zoe Barnes.
Now, you know that Zoe is my most true ally. Oh God, they're throwing grenades.
Yeah, and you've kept a very open thing with the community. You've shown a full content roadmap that everybody can see, and you've explained your plans for the game. How has the response been to that, and to the current build of the game that's out right now in the public?
Well, I'll take the second question first. So the response to the build and the game that's out there, the early access version that's out there now, has been really positive. We're hovering around 90% positive Steam reviews, which we're really pleased with, and it really inspires us to keep making those features and keep making things better. The open development policy has been something that we've embraced throughout the entire span of our development. We used to stream the game, play test of the game, really, really early. Even when it was first person, we had some streams from way back when.